Good morning, YouTubes. It is a beautiful day in London today. The sun is out, the sky is blue, and I'm very lucky to be traveling here. But you know, I've been lucky in general over the past couple of years. I've traveled to a lot of different places, almost every continent, I think over 10 countries, and the vast majority of these trips have actually been for work. And as a marine biologist and as a scientist generally, you have to do a lot of traveling for work. So for today's video, I will talk about why you travel as a marine biologist and how, as in how do you get the money to do so. So first up, there are actually very many reasons why you need to travel as a marine biologist. The first is often linked to field work. So you will need to travel potentially locally in your country or internationally to the destination where you will be doing your research. For me personally, I lived in South Africa and my research my research place was in the Seychelles. So I had to take multiple trips to the Seychelles where I could do my field work. These are the organisms, the stingrays that I was studying, they were in the Seychelles, and that's where I needed to travel to do my field work. Oftentimes marine biologists will need to go on research cruises, they'll need to go out into the ocean if you're not doing shallow water stuff. So a lot of times you will need to travel for your field work. The next reason you will need to travel as a marine biologist is to attend conferences. And this is for scientists in general because science is often a very collaborative effort, and you will need to attend conferences where you can meet other people who are working in your field. You can they will do their talks and you can listen to what they are doing in their field, catch up on the latest research, and just network. Conferences are a really great experience for networking opportunities, meeting other scientists, and that's why traveling to conferences is really, really important, especially as a young career scientist and even as a later career scientist. Another reason why you might need to travel is to attend courses. Oftentimes research groups at universities will offer very specialized short courses, usually about a week or so, and these are so specialist in nature that it is often something you will only have covered briefly if you went to university and you studied marine biology. So this is really to delve into more details and more specifics, and it's courses that are really related to the work and what you're doing. So if you're lucky enough to find a course that offers the information and the details upon your research techniques, then it's really great if you can travel to the universities who are offering those courses. So the hardest part about traveling for work is finding the money in which to do so. As a scientist, trying to find money for what you need is always the hardest part of the job, and for traveling it's no different. But there are a variety of bodies that you can apply to for funding. If you are attending a course or conference, oftentimes you are lucky enough to apply to that course or conference for funding to attend, especially if you are a student. Conferences will often give some sort of funding which you will need to put in an application for, and if you're doing really good work and you are a good student, you have a good chance of getting money from the conference itself to attend. I was lucky enough to get money from the university where I attended my course in Germany. They paid for me to come, so that was really great. Oftentimes if you are a student, your supervisor will have some money set aside for students to attend conferences and courses. You might have access to that if the course or conference you are attending is really relevant and important to your work. Oftentimes people will apply to the government, so the government will give money for field work, to attend conferences, to attend courses. I know for me personally, I had a scholarship through the South African government, and linked to that scholarship I could apply for one travel grant. So I decided to use that travel grant to go to Brazil. I just had to put in an application, and then they granted me the money to travel to Brazil for a conference that was relevant to my work. Not only that, research grants and stuff from the government will also pay for your travel to fieldwork, so you can actually do your research. And there's not only government bodies, but there are also private funding bodies. Again, for me, the Save Our Seas Foundation is a private funding body, and they paid for my fieldwork and my travels to the Seychelles. So again, I was really lucky with that. So there are multiple routes you can go through, whether it be private, government, through your supervisor, through the bodies who are you're hosting the conference or course you're attending. So you just have to look around, look for the best option, put in a couple of applications, and just hope for the best, really. So regardless of the difficulty in obtaining funding, you will inevitably travel as a marine biologist or as a scientist. Whether it's for fieldwork, to attend a conference, to attend a course, you will end up traveling. And if you like traveling, it really is a great perk of the job. you know, it's often very tiring and very busy. For example, if you're traveling for field work, you're trying to cram as much work as possible into a short space of time. So you're working overtime, you're working all the time. So it is very tiring. And again, you are traveling for work purposes. You're not traveling for tourism purposes. So it is different. But if you're lucky, you might be able to tack on a few extra days of personal travel to do some sightseeing stuff. And it really is a great way to see many beautiful places of the world. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sorry for all the bird noises. If you're wondering where they're coming from, I'm sort of on the banks of a lake in front of Kensington Palace. So those are all the birds making all the noise. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below as always. And until next time, I hope you have a happy day.